Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is one night stand romance recommendations. I used to do a ton of recommendation videos. I literally have hundreds on my channel, but I don't do them as frequently anymore. And my friend Nayema at Nayema's Reads did one night stand, and I was like, oh, I've definitely done that. And I went and looked at my channel, and now I have it. So I'm gonna do it too. So here we are. If you watch my channel all the time, there will be some that you are familiar with and some that I really haven't talked about. So the first one is Pregnant by the Playboy by Jackie Lau. This is a Asian Canadian. I believe they're both Chinese Canadian main characters, and they are in their 30s. He has already built a successful company, burned out, sold it, and has been living a Playboy lifestyle for the last few years, but is kind of over it. At this point, he's kind of done with the parties and the constant hookups. And she's successful with her job and is actually kind of looking for a relationship, but just kind of wants a little something something. They meet at a party, and they actually meet while he's making out with someone else, and she makes eye contact with him and is like, come do that to me. So they hook up, they have some exhibitionism going on, and then they go to the hotel, have a great night, everything's great, and then she finds out that she's pregnant, and she has had an abortion back when she was a college student, but now she's ready for a kid. With or without a co-parent, she'll be okay, but she also likes him and wouldn't mind having him in the baby's life, especially as they get to know each other. So she's pregnant, he dotes on her, and he's kind of like, you'll be my wife, and she's like, I don't think so. And there were some realistic, I think, concerns with their relationship, and I really liked their dynamic. I like Jackie Lau's writing. It's really, really good, and I think that you would like it, especially if you kind of pretty low conflict between the couple. The next one that I have is Love Unsolicited by Alexandra Warren. This one is a Black billionaire, and she is at a party or a hotel bar or something like that, and picks him up, and she used to be kind of a con artist for funsies, and she's kind of really considering stealing from him, and he's like, go ahead, take my money. And then it turns out her sister works for him, but she doesn't work for him, and she doesn't need the money. She's secure in her life. And so I really liked this take on the billionaire romance. They get some nasty sex on that first night, and I just love this one. It was my first Alexandra Warren, and it's just continued to live in my mind for years at this point. Then I have The Hookup by Kristen and Ashley. This should be no surprise to anyone who watches my channel. This is my favorite one night stand romance. It's really my favorite Kristen and Ashley romance, my favorite small town romance, it's my favorite. It's my comfort read. Don't come at me. It's the best. So she's new to town, and he had a longtime girlfriend that broke his heart. Everyone knows that he hasn't hooked up with anyone or been with anyone or given anyone the time of day since his girlfriend left. And then she's new to town, she breezes in, she makes him laugh, he takes her home, yada yada. And we actually open up on the first page with the morning after, and you kind of get the flashback of the night before. And then he's like, oh, I can't do this, emotionally unavailable. And they run into each other again. Okay, so this is their second meeting, and he's like, never mind, I'm all in, you're the one for me, we're gonna do this thing together, it's gonna be amazing, you're gonna have my babies, I'm gonna take care of you. It's not quite like that, but it kind of is. He quickly changes his mind, is like, no, I'm definitely pursuing something with you. And you really fall in love with the whole cast of characters. I love them, and you have her sister and her little kid and his brother and his found parents, and then her best friends, and it's just and then there's this very random romantic suspense plot later in the book having to do with the ex, and this is one that I really appreciate, the way it handled the one who got away, the other woman, the ex, the wanting to come back in the life, and it not being a jealous or toxic environment. It just is. You had something good, and unfortunately it's over, and that doesn't mean that I have to hate you because you're the ex-girlfriend, right? I love them. Next I have Bad Billionaire by Kriss. This is a wild concept. So he is actually a car thief. He's in a car thief heist thing. He's also a mechanic, and they're neighbors, and they're neighbors in like really bad part of town, and things aren't safe and stuff, and he gets busted. And so he like climbs in her apartment, they have sex, and he goes to jail. Well, he's in jail for like 3 years or something like that. And while he's in jail, lo and behold, a billionaire died and left him all his money. And like, she's kind of been waiting for him, even though they didn't commit to anything, and he's kind of been waiting for her, and he gets out of jail and they have a relationship. I don't know. That sounds ridiculous, and it is, but I did have a really good time with this like tattooed mechanic turned billionaire. It was fun. I had fun. Then I have Hitting the Wall, which is Stonecut County #1 by Cate Wells, and this sounds like the most toxic, awful, questionable story you've ever heard of in your life, okay? But I like need you to understand that I trust Cate Wells with my life, and she tested me. She tested me with that fact, but it remains, and it's actually like one of my favorite books by her, and I can never get over myself trying to recommend this book, because I'm just like, this is so bad. This was like not good. Jail. But also, no, you're perfect. All right, with that little setup, so we have a one-night stand, and she's actually an underage teenager. Okay. He thinks that she's from out of town. She's not, and they have this one-night stand, and then drama happens, and his family's very rich. He's also a cop. He's like 21, 22, okay? So he's not like significantly older. And she's like 17 or 18. Like he thinks that she's in her 20s, okay? And then and then she's pregnant, and she can't get a hold of him. She tries, and then like she tells her cousin, and then there's a rumor going around that he got her pregnant, and so his family runs her out of town, and he doesn't know about any of this. He knows nothing. And so she does. She leaves, and his uncle gives her money to have an abortion, and she chooses not to. And now it's like 6 years later, and she has a little girl, and their girl is autistic and is not getting what she needs at school. It's not a good environment. She's not happy. She's also like very uneducated, in the sense that she's like a backroads country girl, and I don't think graduated high school because of the pregnancy. So like, she is doing her best to fight for her child with the resources that she has, but like she could use some help, right? But she is not happy with what the school is doing with her kids, so she comes up with this plan that she can basically live for free if she goes back to her grandfather's trailer, and like, she won't have to run into him. It'll be okay. She can lay low, she can save money, and then she can get her kid into a better school. Until he sees her walking down the road, and he's never forgotten her, and she's walking next to the miniature of his sister, and he's just like, my genetics has something to do with this. And then he will move hell or high water to protect her, while also like finding out that he's been treated so well by the people that he loves, because he's the town's golden boy. He's the rich boy, he's the football star, he's the cop, he's white, he's one of them. And that's not how they treat everyone else. And like, people that he thought were good people his whole life, like, he's realizing some of the awful things that they did. And it's not an easy road for him, but it is a road that he travels, and you do see like corruption and, you know, the things that the underbelly that anyone that is marginalized could tell you about, but he has never experienced firsthand before, and particularly not from his own family and the people that he's literally spent his whole life with. So the beginning's so stressful. The beginning is so stressful, and I'm just telling you that Cate Wells is it for me. She can write what she wants to write, and I will read it, and I will love it, and I will appreciate it, and I will be like, I hated you, but now, honestly, forever. I have Feed by Aveda. This is and really I'm going to talk about Yours Insatiably more, but Feed is the novella with the one night stand where they hook up. So she is a succubus, and then they are a moth fairy, and they're non-binary, and also like very dominant, and we got kinky real fast, okay? But because she's a succubus, she literally needs sex to survive, right? She feeds off of sex. And so she uses this like paranormal service, and she hasn't revealed that she's a succubus, and succubuses do deal with a lot of prejudice against them. And they're the one that answers the call because they're a sex worker, and as well as like their day job where they are co-workers at an art museum. And so she hates them, and they're like, you don't sex me up like you hate me. It's a hot time, it's a good time, and you have yours. Look at the cover and tell me that you don't feel any interest. It's just so hot and so good, and it's real good. Like if you want a tattooed fairy, the extra parts. It's very interesting having a paranormal romance where you have a sex demon and they're kind of almost mild and tame compared to the other partner. And then lastly, I have The Wrong Right Man by Aurora Rose Reynolds. If you want over-the-top alpha candy popcorn, is it the best thing you've ever read? No, but it's a good time. She goes on a blind date and she meets this guy and everything is amazing, and they hook up, and she wakes up the next morning to a text from her date asking why she never showed up. And so it wasn't him. And he's just like, you're mine now. And like things like there's dramatic stalkery things, and there's a lot. It's very over the top. Very over the top, insta love, possession, jealous, alpha, which you know is something I like. So very over the top. It's a good time. It's very fun, especially with the hookup being with someone that was someone else. That's it. So those are my one night stand romance recommendations. I do really like this, partially because a lot of times you do get like steam early in the book, which I personally do enjoy. So it's kind of like when we're starting off with a bang. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.